Alright guys, Tactical here back again today. Hope you're enjoying your Monday so far, and today we have to talk about the final day of the Seattle home series. Chicago win the championship, a very impressive run from them in their first tournament with Prestinni, 7-0 in hard points on the weekend. Very impressive stuff, didn't even have to go to a game 5 to risk losing it in that fashion. And of course we'll have to talk about how exactly this prepares this team for the upcoming Minnesota event in a couple of weekends time, where Atlanta and Dallas are also present. Obviously a lot of people would have expected Chicago to win coming into this weekend, even if they were playing with gunless, given they're probably the third best team in terms of power rankings coming into the weekends. So yeah, okay, they were the favourites, they won the event, but that's not exactly the only storyline to talk about here. Chicago looking more impressive than I expected them to, and I expected them to have a good event at that. So let's hop right into things here. Like, if you guys enjoy the video, subscribe if you're new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. Thanks for all the birthday wishes yesterday as well. It was really great to read through all the comments and everything, and why you guys enjoyed the videos and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, if I didn't reply to you, I did definitely read them, and thanks again. So let's hop into things. Firstly, big thanks to Cam Allen for the scoreboards we're going to go through in today's recap. Also, just wanted to mention this Warzone weekend which kicked things off. Paris Legion won this. This was pretty entertaining to watch. It was pre-recorded, much better than the hype battles. The Paris guys effectively just camped in a building for 20 minutes and the zone ended up finishing on them. So this is a kind of funny way to finish it, but hopefully we see more of that going forwards. Also, yesterday we had these drops that came into play. Now, there were a lot of glitches with this. I didn't even attempt to do it because I kind of felt like there'd probably be glitches, but yeah, maybe this will be fixed going forwards. People not able to connect their accounts, people having issues with they've watched it for the amount of time but they don't get the drops, all this kind of stuff. Hopefully they'll get fixed going forwards, but it's still cool to see that they were at least trying to implement it this weekend. So anyway, the first series of the day, this was a corker. OpTic Gaming, London Royal Ravens in the first semi, and Royal Ravens get off to a great start, 250-193 in the hard point. This is just gun runner, like Royal Ravens seem dominant on that map right now in pretty much any mode. Then the game 2, 6-3 on Arklov Peak, and this was what was impressive, right? Because Royal Ravens and OpTic Gaming are very, very good on this map. OpTic have a great record on it. They do quite like to go round 11s, but they're very good at Arklov Peak and very comfortable on that map. But Wuskin just took over with the sniper rifle, and there wasn't really much that OpTic Gaming could do about it, right? Two pieces, left, right, and center, and when you're playing up against a guy like Wuskin who's just like, well, how do we even go A when we're going to have to deal with this guy's sniper? And, Dashy was having trouble with it, and if Dashy's having trouble dealing with a guy like Wuskin, then, there's not much that any player in the world is going to be able to do against him. So 6-3 in the search and destroy set Royal Ravens up very nicely to close this series out and make the grand finals, but it wasn't so easy. 170-131 in a really good domination match here. Kenny had a great series, or Kenny and Dashy I think had really good maps in this one. And then the game 4, this was just where it got ridiculous, right? I'll have to put this on the screen for you guys, because Slasher is just one of those players that when it looks like his team is down and out on a championship Sunday, he just has to pull something ridiculous out of the bag to make it work. So Royal Ravens looked like they were going to close this out, but Slasher went on like a 13 kill streak. He finished the map 46 in 24, I believe, a new record amount of kills on the Ramaza hardpoint. And yeah, 46 bomb, like what is going on there? And yes, somehow OpTic hold on to that P1 hardpoint on the bridge. They just do a great job shutting London out and win the rotation over to P2 as well. So clinical, again on a Ramaza hardpoint, OpTic win a very close one. We were talking about that yesterday. They do it again, send it to a game 5. And I thought like London, they might crumble in this, right? But no, they don't. They win it very comfortably once again on their home map, seemingly on Gunrunner. There was the whole TJ nade situation. I'll put that on screen for you guys as well, but he gets a couple of kills, goes to throw a grenade into green, and then the server lags. It hits the box in front of him and he suicides. Not ideal. Clearly the server's not in a perfect state, but most people not really having too many complaints about the servers. This is probably just one of the odd hiccups that really did cost a round, but at the same time, like, we're OpTic gonna win this game anyway? Like, probably not, right? Given it was 6-1, it was very comfortable, and Dylan CoD just took over this map, I think it went 14-4 to finish off the job. Slasher with a 1.3 over the course of the series, but it's not quite good enough. The slaying on London is right down the middle. Like, look at this, 84 and 85, 89, 89, 81, 81. Dylan CoD really the only guy separating himself from the pack, but really consistent slaying from the Royal Ravens. The clutch factor in the search is key, especially against a team like OpTic who are very good in the respawns. They make it to their first grand final. Pretty happy to see this, given I predicted them to get very far this weekend. Didn't quite win the championship, as we will talk about, but they did put on a show, given that Zero is very recently in the squad. Let's let's go on to the next series, that being New York Subliners versus the Chicago Huntsmen. And Subliners are a team that's put up a lot of fights against a squad like Atlanta FaZe, taking them to game 5s. Subliners respawn has been very good, and this is where it really tested the Chicago Huntsmen in this one, but they came through with flying colours, winning the Ramaza, and this was why I was super impressed with Huntsmen. Like, their rotations were fantastic this entire weekend. That's something which we don't often say about a team with Scump and Formal on it. Their squads, the Chicago Huntsmen earlier this season, OpTic in previous seasons, haven't done the greatest job of rotating. They've got fantastic gun skill, but fundamentally their hardpoint has always been somewhat flawed. This was the first time I felt the Huntsmen really were coming into their own and playing fundamentally great hardpoint and winning some really close maps, but always clutching up because they always had the rotations. That's what was so impressive, pairing their fantastic gun skill with fundamentally great hardpoint. And the fact that they've been able to do that in just a few days with Prestinni on the squad is a testament to Prestinni, but also a testament to how well this squad seems to be meshing right now. So yes, they win the first hardpoint, win a gun runner search and destroy as well, 6-3. Then, you know, the game 3, Mac just takes over, goes like, well, he starts off 22-9 or something ridiculous. They win the domination, but Huntsman closes out with another 250 to 200, right? This is their trademark right now. They win hardpoints about this margin, and it's a good margin to be winning hardpoints, right? Because the perfect hardpoint game people think is 250 to 0, but it's not really. If you're playing perfect hardpoint, you're giving up scrap, you're, you know, spawn trapping them over at the old hardpoint while you rotate, so you have to give up some time. The fact that they're consistently winning hardpoints by this margin does show that they're playing very, very solid hardpoint indeed, because you can't win every single rotation, right? So yeah, they win this series 3-1. Very impressive given that the hardpoint that you know, Subliners have put on against other teams like Atlanta FaZe, it really shows the Huntsmen are very strong in the respawns right now, and that is a scary sight, especially when they're winning search and destroys as well. This was how the series went overall. Formal had another great one. Slaying from the Huntsmen guys wasn't exactly fantastic, but the fact they win both hardpoints in this manner while pretty much being outslayed is, yeah, testament to how good their teamwork is right now, and that's something that's kind of indicative of a Prestinni squad, right? We've seen it over and over again. So then we go to the grand finals, you know, National Brothers Day, Scraps Wiskin, Arcides Prestinni, the twins up against each other, and this was a really exciting grand finals. It kicks off with another trademark Huntsman victory, 250 to 200 on the Ramaza hardpoint. Again, the rotations were just too strong for London, and yeah, their hardpoint just looking very, very crisp and clean right now. But I thought that Huntsman once again making some somewhat questionable decisions, I thought, in the vetoes. This is something we do talk about this squad quite often, but of course they, you know, they would have had the option to get rid of Arcloth, peak search and destroy, and I think that Huntsman often in their search they quite like to play maps that they are comfortable on, but don't really consider too much how comfortable the opposing team are on it, because in this map they well, in this series they pick Arcloth, or they don't pick Arcloth, but they allow Arcloth to be picked. And then game 5 was Gunrunner, a map where London Royal Ravens, when pushed to the limit game 5 against OpTic, came up in flying colours in a 6-1 fashion. So I think if this did go game 5, yeah, I'd have been slightly concerned if I was a Huntsman fan. But yeah, they get it done in 4 regardless. Respawn's too good. 6-2 in the search and destroy was yeah, very good from London. Once again, like, you're just going to challenge Wiskin on this map. It's not going to go pretty for you in the current state of the game. So yeah, 6-2 to Royal Ravens. This domination was where, like, this really could have been the swing game, and I felt like Huntsman were just too strong in the hard points, but this domination, Royal Ravens could have won it. Scump had an incredibly clutch 2-piece right at the end to just hold off that cap for the seconds that were required to get Huntsman over the line in 155, 154, but this could definitely have gone another way, and if it had done, I think this series could have turned around. Impressive from Royal Ravens to push it this close, but yeah, Huntsman closed it out in the respawns, and this was just, yeah, another incredibly clinical respawn gameplay from the Huntsman. 250 to 160 here on Hackney Yard, and yeah, okay, Shawnee kind of got fried a little bit in this final series, but the slang was dominant from Arcides in this final one. Scump, a lot of people are considering him like the grand finals MVP, given the performances he put up on the clutch factory showed in the domination especially. So yeah, there's a lot to be said here. But Huntsmen win the championship. Yes, coming into this weekend, there's no Atlanta FaZe, there's no Dallas Empire. A lot of people expecting them to win. Royal Ravens were very close indeed, given these two teams are very newly formed. Zero's only just joined London. Prestinni's only just joined Huntsmen. It is impressive signs for both teams going forwards. So we'll have to see how they develop over the next few weeks and months towards the end of the season. I believe there's 6 events left towards the end of it as well. So yeah, congratulations to the Chicago Huntsmen. If their search and destroy continues to improve, because right now their hardpoint seems lights out, and I'm super intrigued to see how they perform against an Atlanta FaZe, against a squad like Dallas Empire in the hardpoints, because what they were able to do against pretty much every team this weekend, especially the likes of Subliners, who have mixed it up very closely with some of those top teams I just mentioned, and winning those hardpoints in a pretty comfortable fashion at the end of the day, just shows that Huntsmen are really, really clicking right now, and it's impressive to see. Strange, once again, looking back on this tournament, that Mutineers would just kind of give up Prestinni, right, to a squad like the Huntsmen to make them, well, could be the best team in the game, who knows. Right now, I'm not going to put them there in terms of power rankings. I need to see proof that they can beat FaZe and Dallas, but they may well have a chance next weekend. So these are 2 weekends time at the Minnesota home series. These were the overall KDs for the weekend. Slasher with a monstrous performance. Octane once again on that absolutely awful Seattle squad. Formal with his first really great KD we've seen from him in a while with the 1.22 on the AR. Luca Melts just gunning again. Den's Assault, Decimate, Attach and Blast finish off the top 10 right here. And these are the overall CDL point standings right now. So Huntsmen back into first place, 50 points from Seattle. Yes, they've played 6 events. Atlanta FaZe and Dallas Empire have only played 5, so they'll all be attending the next one, as we'll look at in just a minute here. But then after that, Huntsmen don't play in one or something, so possible for Atlanta and Dallas to catch up here, especially next weekend. But for now, Huntsmen in first place, and of course, as we looked at, it really matters if you're seed 1 and 2 at the end of the season, because that gives you a really, really good seeding for the rest of the championship. If you're third, it's somewhat significantly worse. That 1 and 2 is effectively the same kind of deal. So yeah, Huntsmen back on top for now with this new squad, and this is the next event, Minnesota, in a couple of weeks' time, June 5th through, well, the 7th. So we've got the, Group B is in red right here, so Ultra, LAG, Florida, Chicago, so pretty doable group for Chicago, you would imagine, especially with another 2 weeks to practice and improve on what they were able to put up right now. And then the other group is pretty deadly, right? You've got to feel somewhat bad for Seattle here, up against Atlanta, Dallas, in Minnesota. So if you expect that Atlanta and Dallas make it out of this Group A, or Group, I think it's Group A, as I would expect them to, and if Chicago make it out of Group B, as you would imagine they do, then Chicago will play at least one of those 2 teams at this event, and if they win one of those first 2 series, they possibly will play both teams, which could be a very exciting prospect coming up. So intrigued to hear your thoughts down below. What do you think about this new Chicago lineup? They seem to have clicked very quickly indeed, and could indeed and probably will continue to improve. If I'm Dallas, if I'm Atlanta, I'm pretty worried right now at the situation that I am being faced with. But yeah, intrigued to hear your thoughts down below, and hopefully a squad like London can continue to improve as well. And OpTic Gaming with this gunless rumor coming into play, do they need him to join the team? Okay, maybe you could argue they do, given that they haven't quite got over the line yet at the grand finals, but they're consistently making semi-finals, so there's something to be said that that team is improving also. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new. As always, I would greatly appreciate it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.